metrics and measurement, it's really easy to go from one unit to another if you remember what your base unit is. So let's first look at our base unit, and that will help us when we go to solve these problems. The first thing to notice is that the base unit here on the worksheet is given for each of the measurements. Grams would be for mass, liters for volume, and meters for a linear measurement. And that would be our base unit. And that's why I had you do the lab, so that you held a dime so that you could kind of get an idea of what a gram is. You looked at a liter Erlenmeyer flask to see the volume of a liter, and then the meter would be the metric stick. So what we're going to do is I need you to have that in the back of your mind when you go to convert these, because it's got to make sense to you. As you can see in this chart, everything is relative to the base unit right here. So a decimeter, 1 decimeter would be 1/10 of a meter. That means if I took a meter stick and I divided it up into tens, one of these would be a decimeter. So this would be a decimeter, because it's 1/10 of a meter. Now a centimeter, 1 centimeter is 1/100th of a meter, because there's 100 of them in a meter. So if I had 1 centimeter, I would have a lot smaller length than a whole meter stick. So it's less than a whole meter stick. In fact, it's one of these divided into 10. I can't even do it. So a centimeter is 1/100th of that meter. And then a millimeter is 1/1000th of the meter, meaning that this stick is divided into 1,000. Each one of those units is divided into 10. So there's 1,000 millimeters in 1 meter. Now if you have bigger numbers, which we don't often in chemistry, in fact we even go smaller than a micrometer, a decameter would be 10 meters. So that would be like the length of the room. So the length of the classroom is about a decameter. Hectometer would be 100 meters. A kilometer would be 1,000 meters, and that's like a mile. 1 kilometer is 0.8 miles, so that gives you a reference point there. And then a megameter, which is 10 to the 6th. So if you know your base units, you can get just about anywhere. So I'm going to show you the simple way of doing it so that you don't have to feel like, oh, I got to memorize these. You don't. So we're going to do the factor label method. The first thing we do is write the given number and the unit. And this is the thing we want to change. We're changing the unit. We're not changing the amount. We're changing the unit, or the measuring stick. Set up your conversion factor and then cancel your units. So we're going to look at worksheet page 7 and answer those questions to help you understand how to do this. Let's start with this first one, 35 milliliters. We want to get to deciliters. And we know there's 1,000 milliliters in a liter. We know there's 10 deciliters in a liter. So all we have to do is put a 1 under the 35 milliliters, because that's our given. So that's the amount we have. And we go from milliliters. There's 1,000 milliliters in every 1 liter. And there are 10 deciliters in every 1 liter. So it would be 35 times 10 divided by 1,000. Now milliliters cancel, and now we're in deciliters, so it would be 0.35 deciliters. I only have 2 significant digits here, so my answer can only have 2 significant digits. Now let's take a look at number 2. We're going to use a different color. We have 950 grams, and we want to get to kilograms. Well, I got to go from grams to kilograms. So I asked myself, how many grams are in a kilogram? Well, there are 1,000 grams in a kilogram, so 1,000 goes on the bottom in 1 kilogram. And I again multiply the top numbers, 950 kilograms. My grams cancel, and I'm left divided by 1,000, 0.95 kilograms. Now in this case I have 3 significant digits. No, I have 2 significant digits because there is no decimal. So I have two significant digits in my answer. Kilograms. And that makes sense because a dime weighs grams and a kilogram is like 2.2 pounds. So a dime doesn't weigh 2.2 pounds. Okay? So that helps you to compare grams to kilograms. There's 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram. Now let's look at number 3. We have 275 millimeters. I'm going to go from millimeters to centimeters, and I'm going to use my meter as the conversion. I have 1,000 millimeters in a meter, and I have 100 centimeters in a meter. So I use that as my conversion. Millimeters cancel, and I'm left with 27500, so 27,500 divided by 1,000 centimeters. And I'm sure you were shown this trick before. When you're dividing by tens, you can just cross off the zeros. So it's actually 275 divided by 10, which would be 27.5. So that would be our answer, 27.5 centimeters. Okay, now we're going to start again fresh. Start with the number 4. 1,000 liters equals how many kiloliters? We have 1,000 liters. We know that for every 1,000 liters, we have 1 kiloliter. Kilo means 1,000 of the base units. Our liters cancel, our 1,000 cancels, and we're left with 1. So we have 1,000 liters equals 1 kiloliter. Number 5, we have 1,000 milliliters. We want to get to liters. So we're going from milliliters to liters. There's 1,000 milliliters in every 1 liter. Milliliters cancel, 1,000 cancels, we're left with 1 liter. The last one that's going to fit on this page is number 6. 4,500 milligrams. I want to get to grams. Milli means that you divide the base unit by 1,000. So there's 1,000 milligrams in 1 gram. Milligrams cancel. I'm left with 4,500 grams over 1,000. Zeros cancel. I'm left with 45 divided by 10, which is 4.5 grams. Now notice every one of these answers has a number and a unit. It's not fully dressed until you have the unit. So that would be 4.5 grams. I'm going to erase to make more space. I'm going to do number 7, 25 centimeters. And again, we're going to use our base unit to help us to convert. We're going to use meters. There are 100 centimeters in a meter, and there are 1,000 millimeters in a meter. You always have to go back to the base unit. You go back to the original unit so that you know how many divisions there are. That way you don't have to memorize how many centimeters, how many millimeters would be in a centimeter. We cancel the units that can cancel because centimeters divided by centimeters is 1. So the 1 cancels. 25, 1, 2, 3, 25,000 millimeters over 100. The zeros cancel. We're left with 250 millimeters. And that makes sense because you guys have been measuring with the meter stick, so you know that a millimeter, they're tinier than a centimeter, so there's more increments when you have millimeters. So it's 250, no decimal because we can only have 2 significant digits. We're going to do number 8. Caught me off guard there, that deca. 0.005 kilograms. We're going to go from kilograms to decagrams. Dag. That's weird. I've never seen it like that. It's usually DKG. All right, so let's use our base unit. Our base unit is grams. I know that I have 1,000 grams in every kilogram. So I need to do 0.001 because I have 1,000. So 1.001 kilogram equals 1 gram. And I know that I have 10 grams in a decagram. So I need to do 1/10 of a decagram is a gram. So 1/10 of a decagram is a gram. 1/1000th of a kilogram is a gram. So I'm comparing the gram. Kilograms cancel, and I'm left with 0.1 times 0.005. 1, 2, 3, 5 over 0.001. Now here the decimal places can be moved over. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So it would be 0.5 decagrams. And that makes sense because a decagram are smaller units, so I'd have more of them in the same quantity of a kilogram. Now I'm going to erase this. I'm going to do this so that you guys can keep that. I'm just going to erase this part of it. So I want to keep those up there just so that you can digest it a little bit. And we're going to go on to number 9. 0.075 meters. Meters is my base unit, so that's good. I've got that down pat. I know that for every 1 meter I have 100 centimeters. And my meters cancel, and I'm left with and then this is times 100, so you get to move it over to 7.5 centimeters. And then the last one, which would be 15 grams. Grams, again, is my base unit, so that makes it a lot easier. I know that for every 1 gram, I have 1,000 milligrams. So it would just be, the grams we cancel, it would just be 15,000 milligrams. This one is big in medicine. A lot of stuff is given in milligrams, a lot of the medicines, so that would be one that you should probably memorize. I hope this helps. If you need any more help, make sure you come and see me. But knowing your base units and just knowing what the prefix refers to logically in your mind, it'll help you when you go to answer these questions because then they're going to make sense to you. Have a great day and see you in class.